Ladies and gentlemen, introducing
for the champion here.
now.
Now that he's done something that nobody's really has accomplished against Paul Williams, does he feel that he's in the position of picking and choosing who he wants next, or do you think he might have scared off any potential opponents down the line?
Creo que sí, estoy en una buena posición, pero prefiero seguir con la postura de escuchar ofertas.
Yes, I think I'm in a good position right now, but I prefer to stay in the attitude of listening to offers.
You were announced first. You went down to the catchweight and what Paul Williams and his team was asking for, and then you were in the blue corner. It seemed like everything was up against you guys, but it seemed like you guys were never really bothered to buy it. Why is that?
Pues nosotros, mi punto de vista es que trabajamos tan bien y tan duro que esos son solo pequeños detalles, lo del rincón o lo de ser presentado primero, son solo detalles. Lo importante es haber trabajado así de duro para luego responder bien en el combate. Esa es mi respuesta.
Yo pienso exactamente igual, o sea, ellos venían poniendo muchas excusas durante mucho tiempo, entonces estas eran pequeñeces, ¿no? Comparando con las excusas que venían poniendo, entonces no, lo más importante era subir arriba el ring y hacer el trabajo.
They work very hard to do what they do later in the ring, and all those other things are just small details. Catchweight, blue corner, announcements, those are also very small things if you compare them with all the excuses that camp has been put in during such a long time. So compared to all the other excuses, those were just.
The two best fighters in the world, besides yourself, won't fight each other. It's kind of logical that they probably won't fight you. If that doesn't happen, would you agree that maybe the best way to define your title reign is to go after the other title holders and unify the belt?
Ahora estoy número 2 en el libra por libra y creo que es bastante merecido. Voy a seguir luchando incansablemente para ser el número 1, peleando con quien tenga que pelear, sea con Pacquaio o con Mayweather. Y lo de pelear con otros campeones es algo que siempre quise, pero que es muy difícil que los otros campeones acepten. Por mí, encantado, pero es muy difícil.
I'm right now number 2 pound for pound in the world, and I think I think it's deserved. I will continue to fight restlessly to be able to make it to be number 1 pound for pound in the world, and fight with whoever I need to fight in order to get there to be number 1. Fighting with the other champions goes, it's something that I would like to do. It would be a pleasure for me. The problem is that I think it's going to be difficult because I don't think the other champions will be so willing to fight.
There's been talk of fight fans, including myself, wanting to see him possibly get in either with Floyd Mayweather or even and Manny Pacquiao. But Manny's camp have stated they won't go more than 150. Now, him knowing Sergio Martinez, what is the weight limit Martinez can make?
154 nosotros lo damos bien, perfectamente bien. Lo que pasa es que hacemos un trabajo para ese peso, como hicimos un trabajo para 160. Ahora dicen que Sergio está muy grande, pero Sergio está trabajando, ha hecho un trabajo para 160. Se hará un trabajo para 154 y todo va muy bien. O sea, Sergio es un 154, en realidad.
It would be 154. We will have to work for that, to make that weight, but we'll do it the same way that we worked to get to 160 pounds. He also says, really, Sergio Martinez is a 154-pounder.
We're not really sure if you're going to get either Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao. Staying in the middleweight, and let's say you cannot find anybody to fight in the middleweight, do you move up from there, or do you just continue cleaning out that middleweight division?
No, la verdad que no. O sea, nosotros por circunstancias subimos a 160 pero nosotros somos un 154, o sea, no vamos a subir más de 160 porque no tiene sentido. Lo que está claro es una cosa, y analizándolo fríamente, ellos tienen que pelear con Sergio porque Sergio peleó con Paul Williams y supuestamente el que ganaba Paul Williams era el mejor libra por libra. Si analizás fríamente todo, Pacquiao, la única pelea que hizo realmente con alguien que le pusiera un poco de oposición fue con Márquez, nada más. Los demás estaban todos en la morgue, estaban todos ya prácticamente como de vuelta, ¿no? Entonces hay que analizar eso. Y Mayweather volvió después de 2 años, peleó con Márquez, que era 2 o 3 categorías menos, y peleó con Mosley, que también está de vuelta, estaba en la morgue. O sea, están peleando con gente prácticamente de tercer nivel. Entonces hay que analizar probablemente eso y ver quién es el mejor libra por libra. Si no quieren pelear con Sergio, está claro que tienen que pelear con Sergio. O sea, de alguna manera u otra tienen que pelear con Sergio, porque Sergio le ganó a Paul Williams y ellos no le ganaron a Paul Williams. De hecho, si hubieran peleado ellos con Paul Williams, no le hubieran ganado. O sea, es imposible que le hubieran ganado a Paul Williams, al Paul Williams del 5 de diciembre del año pasado, ¿no? Porque ese es un trabajo que hicimos nosotros y lo terminamos ahora. O sea, se le cruzó Martín en su camino y se terminó Paul Williams, pero si no, Paul Williams era el rival a batir para ellos también, que era el 147.
Is that, no, the only reason we went up to 160 pounds was just because of the circumstances. But really, we are 154 pounders. What I want to make clear, and this would be talking very coldly, the champions need to fight with Sergio. It is now their time to fight him. He fought and beat Paul Williams, and everybody said that if you beat Paul Williams, you will be one of the pound-for-pound best. He did that. Talking also coldly about Pacquiao and Floyd, they have been fighting opposition that are, well, third-level opposition that are pretty much like out of their peak, almost shot in the morgue. In the case of Pacquiao, the only opponent that he really fought that was at his caliber was Marquez, and he didn't fight him afterwards. The other guys were almost in the morgue by the time he fought them. In the case of Floyd, he left the sport for 2 years. Then he came back. He beat Marquez, but Marquez was 2 weight classes below him. And after that, Mosley, that was also almost in the end of his career. So they've been beating just third-level opposition. If they would have fought Paul Williams, the Paul Williams that Sergio Martinez fought in December 5th of last year, they would not have beaten Paul Williams. Paul Williams, before Sergio beat him, was the rival they needed to beat. And right now, it's just the moment for them to fight Sergio.
What would be the meeting grounds for him, you know, him and Sergio Martinez to meet with Manny Pacquiao, or even Floyd Mayweather? I mean, Floyd may come up with saying, I can't make 154, but let's meet in a mutual grounds.
Yo creo que él tiene el título del 154 que nosotros dejamos vacante, y nosotros el límite que damos 154. O sea, menos no vamos a dar, porque si no estamos siempre igual. O sea, él está sacando ventaja nada más que por eso. O sea, está subiendo continuamente de categorías, pero les hace bajar pesos que no pueden los otros. Encima son gente que ya vienen medios tocados, como en el caso de Cotto, que venía muy tocado, Margarito, que también venía tocado de Mosley. O sea, y entonces se aprovecha mucho de eso, pero si el título es en 154, nosotros le damos 154.
I'd say he has the 154 title that we vacated when we moved to 160. The limit that we're willing to give him is 154 and fight for that title. Because if we go lower, it would be the same story as always with him. He's always asking for lower weights, and he takes advantage of that. He fights with fighters of a higher weight category and makes them go down in weight. Same that he did with Cotto. On top of that, Cotto came from a beating that he suffered before against Margarito, and same he did with Margarito, who came from a bad beating against Mosley. So 154.
Does he feel right now that Sergio Martinez is the man that people need to beat? Has he been impressed by what Manny Pacquiao has done, or even with Floyd Mayweather? And if so, in what ways?
La verdad que sí, que estoy convencido de que Sergio, después de ganarle a Paul Williams, iba a ser el mejor libra por libra, iba a ser el rey. De hecho, lo de la corona lo hice porque yo le dije, el día que vos le ganes a Paul Williams, después de ganarle vos sos el rey, vas a ser el rey libra por libra. Y estoy súper convencido de que él es el mejor, porque por las peleas que hicimos este año, por las peleas que venimos haciendo, y por las peleas que viene haciendo Manny Pacquiao y por las peleas que viene haciendo Floyd Mayweather. Yo creo que Sergio es el mejor este momento libra por libra, ¿no? Lo de Pacquiao es, bueno, subir de peso, ¿no? Porque era muy pequeño, empezó como 105 él, pero si nos ponemos a analizar fríamente, o sea, el único, como te lo dije antes, el único opositor que tuvo de verdad fue Márquez. Los demás eran gente que estaba muy tocada ya y bueno, y eso se le hace más fácil. Vos fíjate que en casi todas las peleas él les pega a los rivales como si fueran un costal. O sea, vamos, o sea, entonces, me impresiona, lo único que me impresiona de él es que él subió de categoría, subió tantas categorías así, siendo tan pequeñito como fue subiendo, y eso la verdad que me impresiona. Pero lo demás no, o sea, porque está, o sea, es un negocio y si lo ponemos fríamente, para nosotros no es así. Nosotros peleamos con los mejores. Y Floyd Mayweather me impresiona, o sea, la defensa que tiene, me parece que es el tipo, el número uno defensivamente en el mundo, ¿no? Hablando.
Says, yes, I am completely convinced that after beating Paul Williams, Sergio Martinez is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. He is the king, and that's the reason I bought the crown. Because I told him, Sergio, the moment you beat Paul Williams, you will be the king. So I am completely convinced that he is the fights that we have had this year and the fights that we have had recently, and compare those with the type of fights that Manny and Floyd have had. In the case of Pacquiao, like I said before, speaking coldly, the only real opponent that he beat was Marquez. After that, all the other ones were out of their peak, like going down, and that made it easier for him. Notice just how he hits them. He hits them like if they were a punching bag. Now, as far as what impresses him, he says from Pacquiao, it's that he went up in weight so many classes and so much being so little, because he started at about like 105 pounds. But other than that, just look at the selection of their opponents. We are not like that. We fight with the best. In the case of Floyd, he says that for Floyd is the defense. He considers Floyd is the best, the number one defensive fighter out there, and he is our idol.
Do they feel that their chapter in the boxing history will be incomplete in not fighting either one of those names? I mean, in fairness, Manny's people, and even Manny has said he can't make that 154 a limit. So, you know, because it could be the case of argument where he's, you know, him saying pound for pound, people are going to still say Manny is kind of a step above you guys in terms of what he's accomplished in the boxing game.
No, sinceramente con Pacquiao no, o sea, no, porque me parece que es lo que te comentaba antes, las últimas peleas que viene haciendo después de Márquez son todas peleas súper preparadas para él, y está bien que yo lo admiro mucho por subir de categoría, pero nada más, o sea, está peleando con gente que está prácticamente retirada o muy mal. Entonces, no, para mí no. Para mí el libro estaría incompleto si no peleamos con Floyd Mayweather.
To be honest, no. If we don't fight with Pacquiao, he doesn't feel that anything will be incomplete in their book, because he said, as I said before, the last fights of Pacquiao have been very well prepared for him to look good. I do admire him for going up in weight to so many categories, but that's all. It wouldn't be incomplete without, you know, their book wouldn't be incomplete without Pacquiao. Now, he says our book we will consider the book incomplete if we do not fight Floyd Mayweather.
Sergio, if you don't fight Pacquiao, I don't think anybody will hold it against you in your career. Is it safe to say that of the two people, you would prefer to fight Floyd Mayweather, and that to you is more of a close challenge and more of an even fight?
Muy difíciles para los tres, serían unas peleas muy difíciles. Creo que a la afición, a los fans, les gustaría mucho ver que yo combata con los dos, que yo pelee con los dos. A mí también me gustaría pelear con los dos, sería un sueño.
No, I think it would be a very hard fight for the three of us in the case of any of the two fights, either with Pac or Floyd. And I believe that the fans would love to see me fight the two of them. And for me, it would be an honor to fight them.